Oops, I thought I wasn't recording. Oh my God. If there's one thing that you take away from today's video, it is to free yourself from society's advice, because most of them have no idea what they're doing. If I had $1 for every time I received unsolicited advice, I would be a millionaire. And I know you feel the same way. And to be honest, if I have $1 for how many times I gave unsolicited advice, people would be millionaires as well. Anyway, before we dive in, I'm Lola here with a new haircut. That is one thing that will not be constant on this channel, because I love to experiment with my hairstyles. So it will be a different look almost, every season, so get used to it. On this channel, I share reflections on personal development, career, and tech trends. So don't be shy, hit that like and subscribe button. We have a fabulous time on this channel because we're fabulous, aren't we? So you're a young adult in your early 20s or even 30s. You could even be a grown-ass person, but you're yourself, okay? And you're exploring the boundless landscape of potential growth with optimism. And just like that, unsolicited advice starts pouring in from all directions. Friends, families, and sometimes even complete strangers seem to think that they got it all figured out for you. But do they really? Let's peel back the layers of this complex and annoying issue. It's definitely something that affects everyone, regardless of whether you're young or older. We have all at some point found ourselves in situations where we're just attacked with unsolicited advice. And to be honest, it's an epidemic. And though this video is teaching you how to say no to unsolicited advice, it's important to understand what is their motivation for giving this in the first place. There are a variety of reasons why people feel the need to offer unsolicited advice. And I think it's important not to get too dragged into what their motivation is, but instead have the ability to discern based on the context of your relationship with that person and just follow your gut feeling. From the research that I did, it may just be that they are a good person and they genuinely want you to succeed, or they just feel like they got to do something a smart way and they're trying to save you from potential mistakes that you may make along the way. And so they're coming from a good place. It may be that it's coming from a place of ego. Sometimes people like to feel like they're bigger than us. They like to feel like they know more. They're at a higher level. When you tell them that you want to do something, they come from a wise sage perspective, like, oh yeah, I've been there, done that. Let me tell you this. Yeah, don't do it. Just because something worked for you doesn't mean it's going to work for someone else. The world is changing at such an accelerated pace on the daily. We cannot meet someone in a conversation with the assumption that they want our perspective. Believe it or not, when people share things with us, it's not because they want our advice. It could be because they want our support. It could be because they want to be validated in some way. So when you jump in there with your unsolicited advice, you sort of unconsciously invalidate them. You may not realize it, they may not realize it, but when they leave that conversation, mentally, some self-doubt starts to creep up on them. They start to feel like they're not capable of doing what it is that they say they wanted to do in the first place. There's this general notion that if you want to do something, just do it, don't share it. That is part of what feeds into that concept, because the minute that you share something with other people, if you're soliciting advice, that is one thing. But if you're just sharing it out of pure excitement and you need support, I think it's important that you communicate that with people and let them know, like, it would mean so much to me if you could support me, if you can be my accountability partner, if you can, look out for me, or if you can introduce me to new connections. Not every time do we have to feel like we should have a say or pitch into what somebody else is doing, because 90% of the time, they don't need our insights. Google is free. It could also be habit and lack of awareness. Sometimes people don't need advice. They just need you to sit there in the mud with them. This shows that unsolicited advice often stems from other people's fears and their biases, and it's not necessarily tailored to what is best for you. Here are some tips for you to shut it down. Unwanted pressure. Your journey is yours to navigate. You can take advice, you can listen to what everybody says with a grain of salt, but don't let that pressure you into making decisions that don't align with your dreams. Don't grow gray hairs just because you're on this endless rat race trying to conform to other people's expectations. People will always move the needle. And if you're always trying to conform, you will never truly feel fulfilled. You will never truly feel accomplished because the expectations are always changing. And if you're letting outside voices dictate your action, then you're going to be exhausted. Tip number 2 is the power of self-trust. One of the most powerful tools in your personal development arsenal is self-trust. Think about it. Tech innovators like Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg, they didn't accomplish greatness following the crowd or doing what somebody else told them to do. They trusted their gut, they had a vision, and they saw it through. Even when they were faced with criticism, even when people gave them unsolicited advice, that trust in themselves led to groundbreaking innovations that we are experiencing the benefits of today. When it comes to your path, outsource information, ask the experts, do your research, but also trust yourself, trust your gut, because you are the captain of your ship. And you get to decide what's going to be beneficial for you and what's not. There's this saying, you either grow or you learn. Even if it doesn't work out, you still learned a lesson from it. And that is still part of growth, and that's still a benefit. So at the end of the day, it's a win-win. Tip number 3, your journey, your mistakes. Mistakes are an inevitable part of personal growth, and it's okay to make them because you're still in the learning process. Unsolicited advice might steer you away from taking risks, but remember, it is through these risks and mistakes that some of the greatest innovations were born. A lot of people are walking around holding on to resentment because they followed advice and it didn't work out, and now they can't go back and undo what's been done. And to be honest, I really had to work on letting go of a lot of resentment that I was holding inside of me to people really close to me. And yes, in the moment, they were trying to set me up for success. They were trying to empower me with tools that could be to my benefit, but I realized, like, this is not my course. This is somebody else's dream. I cannot hold on to that pressure and hold on to that weight of trying to live their dream or bring their dreams to life. They're trying to live vicariously through me. I have to be my own person. I have to follow my own path. And the final tip is setting boundaries. Setting boundaries isn't just about protecting your personal space. It's about guarding your mental and emotional well-being. If you feel like somebody's unsolicited advice is starting to feel like an invasion of your privacy, it is perfectly okay to politely but firmly let them know that you've got this, you're more than capable, you've done your research, and you don't need their insights at this time, but you will let them know when you do. Just remember, you're in control of who you allow to influence your decisions. And the minute you share something with someone, you have to ask yourself what is it that I am trying to get from, disseminating this information to them? Am I trying to gather support? Do I want to ask them what their perspective is? At the end of the day, if you don't take control of your life, if you don't take control of your decisions, you will end up being 50, 60, 70 years old, looking back in retrospect and realizing that you have lived your life for people, for pleasing people, for doing what people wanted you to do, but not really following your own unique path. And we want to avoid that as much as possible because we are fortunate enough to have this type of information available to us on the internet. So now that we know better, let's go do better. I've been Lola. Thanks for joining me on this channel. If you want to watch more of my videos, click here or here, somewhere on the screen, and definitely subscribe. I try to upload videos every other week, and I will try to do better at uploading more frequently. Talk to you later. Bye!